We know that information is power, and the more information we have about how we're doing, where we're doing well, and where we still have weaknesses, the better that we can do to support people. So about 6 months ago, we launched a new data collection tool and gathered information about who's working, who's not working, what industries they're working in, how many hours they're working, what wages they're working for. And we committed to collecting that same information every 6 months so that we can keep track of our progress and figure out what's working well and what we still need to improve. So this past October, we collected the most recent round of employment data for persons supported by DIDD, and we now have that information analyzed, and we're noticing some key points and trends. One of the big areas that we've seen some significant progress on is the employment rate for people who have intellectual disabilities who are working in the community in competitive integrated jobs. And that figure increased about 1% over a period of 6 months from April 2017 to October 2017. One of the other interesting data points that we saw this round was there was a 5% increase in the number of people who were actively looking for jobs. And the reason that's significant is because it means that there were some folks who previously had not considered employment as a viable option for them, who are now having that conversation with themselves and with their families and their support systems to say, not only do I want a job, but I'm going to start talking about what it's going to take for me to get that job in the community. Well, competitive integrated employment, or CIE, is sort of the gold standard for professionals who work in the disability services field. It means that someone is working in a job in the community with people with and without disabilities, and that they're earning a competitive wage that is commensurate with the work that they're doing that might also be paid to someone without disabilities. It's a pretty ambitious goal that we have. We want to double the employment rate of the people that our department supports. We want to increase it twofold by 2022, 4 years from now. So that's a pretty ambitious goal, but we know that the only way to achieve a big ambitious goal is to accomplish smaller short-term goals. So as long as we can continue steady progress and making sure that we're spending our time and resources in the best way possible, and making sure that everyone has the resources and information they need to achieve these outcomes and get jobs in the community, we will continue making those short-term goals so that by 2022, we can reflect back and think back to when our employment rate used to be half of what it is then. We know that each of those percentage increase represents lots of different people's lives. So when I look at this employment data, I think about people like Eugene, who most recently was recognized during a retirement ceremony at his employer after spending 16 years working for them and being recognized for all sorts of accomplishments and holding a variety of roles with the restaurant. So really, the employment data is important, the data points are important, but it's more important to look at the individual stories, the impact that employment can have on people's lives, and the impact that people's employment can have on other people in their lives too. I believe that a tool is only a tool if you use it effectively to do something productive. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time and space. And so I think it's important to keep in mind that the story here really isn't about the employment data collection tool or the employment data really. It's about what we're doing with that information. And it's about the idea that employment data really just represents people's lives. It represents opportunity. And we know that there's lots of folks out there who want to work who haven't yet had that opportunity. So that's the real story. The real story is about people fulfilling their aspirations, fulfilling their potential, and making sure that they have access to opportunities just like everyone else.